I did get the patent for 3D seismic for Texas, signed to them. I was a manager in West Texas for 15 years, and we were always trying to figure out something new to do to get better data.
Yeah.
And 3D kind of evolved. And then I was in charge of the first land 3D, the first real 3D seismic with Graebner and Vacus.
All for GSI.
All for GSI. Yeah. And
well, let's do all those.
We were honored by the SEG and by
yeah, and I've got that. I've
all
got
that
the citation. So let's do those: patent, land, and marine.
And I went to Dallas was brought in on the staff, and I handled the worldwide speculative shooting for GSI. And another job was to be, since I was involved in 3D all the time, Grant Dove, who was president at that time, asked me to be project manager, sort of. There were other people involved, but my job was to get it out of engineering and get it into the field.
All right. Let me get the tape going. This is stuff we want to tape, so I got to hook you up to my mic.
But we developed a technique for pattern shooting of dynamite and multiple geophones that we were able to get data. And we shot huge shots, which was unusual. But anyway, we got usable data, and we showed that the field was right on the edge of a tremendous fault, and it went from about 10,000 feet a section to 20,000 feet a section. It was actually more or less like coming off the Central Basin platform into the Delaware Basin. So it saved Phillips an awful lot of money in drilling, and extended the field north quite a ways. And each well turned out to be worth about $20 million, which was real money in those days.
Yeah.
But
paid your salary, huh?
Paid me a lot, yeah, a lot of times. Anyway, then I got promoted to supervisor for the West Texas, Oklahoma area, living in Midland. We had 3 crews, all working for Phillips. Bill Cordier was the chief geophysicist of Phillips, and Mendenhall, Harold Mendenhall, who was a very intelligent geophysicist, was the assistant. Well, we had 3 crews. Robert H. Ray and McCullum had weight drop crews, like 15. And anyway, as TI then and GSI started developing digital recording. Texaco was a main underwriter for the digital recording, and Mobile also pitched in some. But the MIT group, which Backus was one, Mark Smith was the president of the company at that time. Cecil Green, who's on your Hall of Fame, was the instigator, and we developed the digital recording and processing. I had the honor of having the first digital crew that was fielded for Texaco. That was part of the deal. They had an exclusive period. And we had the first digital crew came out to West Texas, and we finally ended up with 17 crews, and Robert H. Ray had 1. So, and that pleased me immensely. But we were able to get the first digital computer for the area that Texas Instrument built. They called it TIAC. it was, but it did set up the ability later on to handle data fast and let three-dimensional shooting be possible. It was practically impossible to do it analog. The computers we had in Midland were just the first interface that TI had built, this large supercomputer. They called it ASC, and one was sold to the U.S. Weather Bureau. It was a gigantic sucker, and we had an awful time learning how to operate it. It was just, but it would really handle a lot of data. We were able to then, when we got to digital recording, with a had good dynamic range system, and GSI had never been involved in the surface source, like everything was dynamite in the holes, but I got them involved, and we bought rights from Sinclair to the Dynasize. It was a gas exploded in a chamber and started the seismic waves, and we combined that with the digital equipment, and we also then made a deal with Conoco, who had a patent on vibrasize, and we had vibrator crews with digital recording.
About what year is this?
Okay, my memory's poor. Let's see. The 64. Around 1962, 3, 4. That's when we were putting out these crews.